Welcome back, everyone, to Merge Conflict 2025 Wrapped. How many wrapped
Get rid of
reports
it.
did you have? No.
Throw it out.
Also, I forgot to tell Frank before he got here, don't get too close to your mic because then you peak. So stay about that distance and don't yell too loud. I know you're going to get excited for this year in review.
Move.
Don't move.
It's hard to get excited about 2025. So we'll see. We'll see how excited I get and if I can possibly max out this mic. I thought the AI figured that out. Like it takes all your clipping audio and it just says, "Oh, he's excited," and inserts excited voice. Here.
Excited voice. You know, how many wrapped things did you unwrap virtually?
Virtually? No. I had an early Christmas, so I actually got to unwrap one present tonight. Very nice. Oh. Yeah. So we're gonna unwrap a year, which is much more difficult than unwrapping a present. But my gifts have been pretty awesome. I got a cat mug. It's a mug that has pictures of cats on it. Pretty much that. Perfect gift.
That's perfect. You can't get any better, so you might as well just give up now. Why even continue to have any more holidays?
No more gifts. No more unwrapping.
We haven't unwrapped.
What have you been unwrapping?
No unwraps at all. I've been clearing out my closets for holiday donations. I do as many big donations. I have some mega donations this year. I'm very excited to the Goodwill. All good stuff. Computer, a whole computer, a working computer. So I reformat. Yeah. I did take the hard drive out because I'm a little scared.
Oh, I miss disassembling hard drives with you. I can never decide what to take to the PC recycle versus any of those Goodwill, whatever. It's a hard choice. Did you just make the decision like this is still a good computer if someone goes buy a hard drive? Is that your rough?
It's awesome machine. It was one of the review units, so just kind of good to go. So
are you allowed to do that?
Yeah. They send it to me. I give it away. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not making money. I'm not making money off of it. I'm not selling it. I'm just giving it away. So cool. It's tax write-off, but
someone will be lucky. Good.
We've not unwrapped anything. I did do a lot of wrapping. Now, virtually, I didn't do any unwrapping in like apps. Like a lot of my apps, I don't use Spotify. Google Photos does like a 2025 in review, which is always fun. We to tell you that. Yeah. My podcast app doesn't unwrapped, but I kind of didn't listen to a lot of podcasts. YouTube hasn't done a wrapped thing.
I got notified for a YouTube one, but I didn't click it because I was afraid of what it would show me. Like if it's actually using my actual viewing history, I do not want to unwrap 2025. Dude, that would be embarrassing to myself.
I do not want to know how much YouTube I've watched. No. You know what I mean? Like it's like if you're listening to Spotify or music, that's okay because it's like it's in the background, right? Like no, like it's an unhealthy amount of YouTube that is being sucked into my brain.
You're not working on the house while watching YouTube, though sometimes I actually am. But yeah, you're not coding while watching YouTube. Though actually sometimes I am. Yeah. But not enough for sure.
Well, let's unwrap and wrap 2025. Let's unwrap to unwrap 2025.
Let's wrap it up by unwrapping it.
Perfect. Okay. Let's just kick it off. Plain and simple, Frank. This was a year. It was 365 days and like some change. And there was a lot of AI in this year.
Oh boy, I think we covered every ounce of it too. I think anytime there was an AI announcement, we were on top of it. I felt a little bit bad. I say this every time, but do you remember the days when you wouldn't let me talk about AI? Now I'm just like, oh my God, are we talking about AI again? But there were some good ones this year. The Gemini 3 came out and Google finally got a decent network out there. Yeah. The amazing Claude, who everyone worships, Claude 4 came out this year. I mean, that's a big deal. Yeah. OpenAI did something. I think they're on like ChatGPT 12 or something at this point. I can't even keep up. But it was funny. I was actually looking at AI model usage, like by model, and they're like GPT 3.5 Turbo is still used a lot. And so you can tell that's the one that set the like high watermark. But 2025, I think we at least raised the bar. If not, a lot of people just being cheap using the 3.5 Turbo. But man, Claude 4, awesome. Gemini 3, awesome. ChatGPT 5, it's okay when I'm not yelling at it.
Yeah, it was a year of models, and I think this always only continued to accelerate as well, or maybe it'll plateau. I don't know. It's a balance because yeah, in the last month or two, GPT and OpenAI have they released so many GPTs. They have obviously
Mhm.
five. They have 5.1 codecs, 5x max, 5.2 now. They have a 5.1 mini. They have a nano. They have all these things. There's a lot of options out there, and there's more options that are kind of even available in we're VS Code Visual Studio people, and there's more than that's even inside of those editors as well. It's a
Yeah.
lot. It's a lot in that model selector. I know the team has been talking about this quite a lot. Yes, yeah. I mean, it's crazy to think that I started Feedback Flow using Sonnet 4.5, and then that's gone.
It's a
3.7,
con.
it's gone.
Jeez.
3.7 is also gone. 4 is also gone. Now it's only 4.5. I think you can get 4 still, maybe. Um, you can still get GPT 4.1, which is a great model. And I use that for some very pointed prompts that are there. It was a year of me learning the personalities and prompting. I think that there was the models, but obviously the tools that we'll talk about
Mhm.
have helped me kind of figure out all the stuff that you've been talking about for so long, on like how to actually proper use these tools, how these models thinks, their characteristics about them. Um, and there's so many that obviously have come out. If you just go to Hugging Face that we don't even
Yeah.
use, right?
Oh
Like
yeah.
it's
Oh yeah.
crazy.
Like this is the year of DeepSeek. Remember DeepSeek? Like China finally released an awesome model out there. It's
Wow.
not just, USA go USA. The other countries are coming in like with a force. Like some proper good models are coming out of other countries. It's pretty impressive. And then the open source world is just amazing. Facebook added some legalese to all their models that I don't really love, but the open source models are crushing it out there, especially the finely tuned one for specialized this. The new medical models out there, which are designed specifically to try to hallucinate a little less, when it comes to medicine, it's kind of important. Um, yeah, I didn't mean like I don't think we've actually plateaued yet, but we definitely decreased the curve. The wild stuff, man, it's really the wild wild west out there. I think we started the year still talking about instructions files for doing
Mhm.
like coding agents, and we still hadn't totally decided what the word agent meant, but now we know it means everything. But we started with like instruction files. Then we
Well,
got
well, 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 we didn't even have agents at the beginning of the year. I was,
oh geez,
yeah,
okay.
yeah.
It's the year of
So,
agents then. Yeah.
so Burke and Pierce just got together, and I was just editing the VS Code podcast that is now out by the time you listen to it, which is VS Code year in review. And they
Okay.
were saying like it was like in December when Copilot free happened, December 18th or something. And
Hmm.
then I think edits happened like when generally available in like February, which edits was okay. We got to add a lot of context. It's like pointed, gives you recommendations. And then agent mode didn't really land until March or so. It
Oh
was like late
wow.
February or
God,
early March in preview. It didn't even hit
shaking my
GA
head.
until like May or something, which is crazy. And that was like, yeah, 3.5, I think was the model, and 4.1 were like the models, right? And we were
Hmm.
talking about at the beginning of the year, it doesn't know anything about Swift and it doesn't know anything about modern C sharp. And we got to write all these
Yeah.
instruction files and we got to do all this stuff. There's no
Yeah.
standardization. Like the standardization of the year is coding is crazy because you have agents, you have MCP, now you have
MCP.
skills that just standardized too. It's like, it's wild in general, but you're right. I think that like, it's hard. It's sometimes hard to just look back and be like, oh, like that was actually just
Yeah.
like 10 months ago that thing happened.
And not to jump ahead to the grand year of 2026, because we are wrapping up 2025, but I feel like we're not stopping. I feel like there's going to be at least 3 more markdown files we need to write by the end of the 2026. And I'm excited to find out what they are. I was just talking to someone today, not tech adjacent, but they were talking about spec kit. And
Hmm.
like spec kit is really making quite a dent in a lot of like enterprisey places where just having like agent files just isn't quite enough, and having like individuals working on one thing at a time just isn't enough, where you actually want some formality to the process. You want to bring back all that cool 1980s ways of designing software, and SpecKit is kind of taken off. So I'm pretty sure SpecKit didn't exist in 2024. It is the wild wild west out there.
Well, and there was hardly any CLIs, right? I mean, now there's a CLI every other week. There's a new VS Code fork every other day.
Yeah.
And
Google has 3 of them, I think.
They released 3 yesterday.
Bonuses are directly equipped to VS Code
Forks. And at the same time, like, the core of VS Code like is evolving too, right? We got work tree support, which we talked about. There's a lot of improvements in the overall like terminal and like how it integrates and like IntelliSense inside of it. Obviously, the languages have updated and all these other things, extension support, new APIs in general. But obviously, the whole code editor has really evolved as well. I mean, not only is all of VS Code open source, but all of like GitHub Copilot inside of VS Code is open source too. Like that also happened this year. And it just only came out like a year ago. You know what I mean? It's just like, it's bananas to think about. But at the same time, like it's been so much fun this year to kind of evolve with the IDEs and just the ecosystem around it. I think like everyone's trying to do their own spin. You think of Curo, which is like very much a plan and spec driven first thing, right? And then like Cursor's doing its thing, and then you got Anti-Gravity doing its thing. You got Zed trying to do its thing, or and I could list off like 5 other ones. And the CLIs, they're all trying to do their own things. It's a CLI. How much can you do, right?
Yeah.
Oh, now you can. I think now I saw like Gemini. There's extensions, so you can have it like watch your browser and take screenshots. Like they're all okay. Let's just put it in IDE. You know what I mean? It's really funny, but it's cool to see how people adopted things at different times. I think you and I, different cadences, similar time. Hanselman, different times than me, but only because of different tools as well. And then it's crazy to think about the things that we couldn't do well at the beginning of the year to things that are exceptional now. And I think as a developer, there hasn't been a tool. I think of this AI stuff as a tool in my toolbox. I'm in charge of how much or how little I use of it. I use a lot of it now. But that being said, like, I've never seen a year in which my tools have evolved and become so good, so fast, and added more tools to their tools in that period of time, in under a year. Like, there's no way, like, you couldn't say, oh, the core of almost any editor out there in 1 year, like, completely transformed how I wrote all of my code and shipped code and helped me write, 10x, 100x the code that I wrote the year before. That just never happened.
No, definitely not. And even the small things have changed. Like we were using basically the IntelliSense user interface to talk into these models. So set aside the agents and the chat window and all the cool asynchronous stuff and assigning PRs to Copilot. Love that stuff. But just the simple editor action of what do they call it? Next edit, or do a next edit with the tab key, instead of it just being the IntelliSense style of where you're typing a little bit and it auto completes that line. This year 2025, we all got the next edit completion, or whatever the heck that silly thing is called, where basically you just kind of sit there and hit tab, tab, tab until it stops offering you something. You move your cursor a little bit. Tab, tab, tab. Move the cursor a little bit. What does the AI think about these lines? Oh, tab, tab, tab. I'll take some of those next edits. Please give me some more next edits. So I like that. And by the way, Ryder finally got next edit support. Nice. So I'm happy that user interface has actually advanced, because the code completion was good. We all knew how to use it. It was very intuitive. It worked out beautifully. I give full credit to the designers of it, but you could always tell this line completion thing, it's not quite right for this AI editing. We need something more sophisticated, and we're probably not at the pinnacle of that user interface right now. But I think the next edit kind of mantra, whatever user interface, is light years ahead of what we had in 2024.
Oh, 100%. I think, and it'll only continue to improve too. And different editors and different extensions are really evolving quickly in the space. That's why Cursor got, really popular with the tab, tab, tab. I think agents and the agent modes are, streamlining, becoming a lot of similar parts. And I think those distinguishing features of, I'm in my code, I'm doing my thing, I'm debugging, I'm planning, I'm designing, like those are kind of really define some things in general. But no, I totally agree. Yeah, I totally agree.
And I've been traveling for the holidays, so I'm pulling what I call a James and just taking out my phone and assigning PRs to the Copilots, and it's fun. I feel like a proper boss for the very first time in my life because, I could never really fully afford employees and all that stuff. So now I feel like I'm actually a boss. I'm like, do this work, sir, and I'm going to code review you. And I'm like, oh, that's too much code. Okay, approve. But I really took a page out of your book and tried to do more stuff asynchronously. Like, am I standing on a line? Could I type out a little issue here and assign it to Copilot? Yes, I can. And so I shall.
Yeah.
So that's been a great. I'm not even sure if it makes me like a 10x engineer. I don't know what it makes me, but it just feels good to be like, oh, there is that nagging little feature in my head, and I'm not going to be able to sit down in front of a computer for 3 days. Let's at least have an AI take a whack at it first.
Yeah, exactly. It may not be perfect. It may not be what you want. Maybe it is, and that's awesome. It gets you, off the ground running. And yeah, I've been super impressed, specifically how I code more asynchronously, because for me, one thing that I think is really nice is if I have an app idea or I have a feature idea, I can take 5 minutes, either craft up a nice issue or just come up with a nice paragraph or a few sentences, assign it off, and I just get back to my life. And, after work, right? It's like you're saying, like I'm, I don't want to bust out my laptop and start coding, necessarily like in the airport and doing stuff, but I can draft it. And then when I'm ready, I can pull it down, review it, or better yet, maybe I have a staging environment and I just, there it is. That's how I did feedback flow a lot was cool. Just go for it. I signed so many things at Copilot. I was talking to Tim Rogers on the last Let It Cook, and he works in the cloud agent. And I was like, I actually got a survey from internal, which is like, hey, you're one of the most, people that use the most cloud. I don't know anymore, but early days, I was just a believer.
Fun.
I was a firm believer. I was like, this is the way. And the integrations in VS Code, to see them, pull them down. I did this video. I'm probably going to redo it, but where you now can pick a model. So you can say, I want Sonnet 4.5, Opus, or Codex. I had it generate like 3 different revisions with 3 different models. And I said, look how easy, like I can go into VS Code, open it, run it, boom, 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 and like hot reloads with Node.js and just kind of goes, which I think is crazy. But no, it's been super good. I mean, we got Visual Studio 2026 this year, which was like super infused with stuff. I was just doing tons of Maui work today, updating all these modules to .NET 10. And it's just like really cool to see that come a long way, especially like with some of the new profiling agents and debug agents. I think that it's wild to think that, none of this stuff existed really last year. And yet I don't think I can go back. Like, I think I've been all in, but there's no going back. It's like the first time you got IntelliCode and tell us, well, there's no going back from this. It's just so good. Why would I ever not do this?
Yeah, I have nothing to add to that. That's the problem. Yeah, it's transformational. If someone took it away from you, would you be upset? Yes, I would be, because and me, I still like handcrafting the code. I write artisanal code.
Artisanal, yes.
There's that human touch, a little bit of Frank in every line of code. But my God, I would don't you dare take away my assistant, or even threaten to take away my assistant. And please don't tell the salespeople at these companies, because I would pay an ungodly amount of money at this point. I'm so glad that they're still kind of relatively vaguely cheap, other than the fact that you have to pay for 12 different models now. Because it's been transformational enough that I'm just no, not going back. I'm curious what we said in 2024. I'll have to go back to the year in review for 2024. Were we fully convinced? I feel like we probably both were. We're both technologists, but I feel like this year like really put the nail in the coffin. I am not going backwards. I need this thing to help me write issues and all that.
I didn't. We should have went back to the 2024 recap. That was bad on us. We should have definitely done that. I'm going to now. I'm going to go listen to it this week, and then we can re-review that to see if it came to fruition. No, I think you're right. I mean, and to the point of this is how I look at my year of AI coding is I wrote more code than I ever have in a single year. I wrote more apps than I have in a single year. Now, a lot of those apps are small. They're personal apps, or apps that maybe some developers or a few other people would find nifty, like my wife maybe. And I think that's okay. I love apps on demand. I think that is, it's going to be a new, bigger trend, the biggest trend. I think the Replets of the world and and what Spark was trying to do, and a lot of these
Yeah.
other, like, not just, they're not low code, but they're like, hey, we're going to help you build an app and do a thing. I think and generate the code is really like kind of a future. I think there'll be apps inside of apps and all these other
Yeah.
um, neat things. So hopefully, actually, creation of these apps for myself are easier and faster than ever, because I love spinning up little things that help me get it done. Like, I was just tracking my donations, and right now I'm doing inside of a
Yeah.
notes, a
Why
notes app,
not?
and it's
Sure.
like the notes app. I make a table. I can't even be like, calculate the sum of this table. Like, come
Yeah.
on, But
Yeah.
if I was doing it correct, I'd probably actually make a little app for myself, and then I would, you know, you do something where I take photos and it calculates everything. It would just be way better, and it'd be better because it would be like, what is this? Oh, there's a QR code. Oh, there's a barcode on it. Let me look up what the retail value would be. It would
Hmm.
just figure some stuff out in the past. It'd be better. But I think those apps
Yeah.
on demands are good. But I've also made the biggest large production apps in my life.
Mm.
Feedback Flow is one of the biggest
Yeah.
apps that I've ever created personally and published onto the internet by myself. I'd say that all the other apps that display a number are relatively small. And then, you think about it. I made the skiing app, and I have the Cadence app, and I've done some Animal Crossing app. That was kind of okay, but this app
Mhm.
is quite complex, quite large. It's using AI. It was built with AI. It's a
Yeah.
web application, which I'm not super comfortable with. It uses databases. It uses functions. It uses email services. It's calling into tons of APIs. It's using staging environments. Has user accounts as an API, as an MCP server. Has all these things, and that was all generated with AI, which is crazy to think about. And then
Mhm.
I just today to the App Store published Trim Tally, which is a 100% generated trimtally.app. Yep. Yeah,
Shipped it.
TRIMTALLY
Congratulations.
dot app. I shipped it
Oh.
out there. The website was built with Copilot, and it's 100% an application written. I actually get it's fun because I'm actually looking at the code, and I can actually read the code and edit the code if I want to. I don't want to. I will
Don't
have it
want
do
to.
it for me. But I'm actively reviewing the code reviews a lot faster now. But it's written 100% in a programming language that I don't know, that I can read, and other APIs that I'm not super familiar with, which is all Swift 6,
Mhm.
Swift UI, and Swift Data. These are things I'm not super familiar with. However, they're not super uncommon either. Like,
Yeah.
how many ways of doing a button is a button, and making a
Yeah.
UI. But there's some things I'm learning, and it's really, really fun. I felt by building this app, I was at Heather's holiday party for our company recently, and I was talking to their iOS development team, which are Swift developers, and I felt like I could have a great conversation about them, about this
Mm.
app, about the things that they're doing, all this other stuff. And I just thought it was so cool that a year ago I wouldn't have been able to do that, and I wouldn't have even thought about doing it, right? Because it would have took way too long to learn, to spin up and use tools like Xcode that I didn't want to use, where I built this all in VS Code. And that is something to me as a learning journey, a study tool. Am I going to build Swift apps for the rest of my life? No. But I'm now able to if I want to spin up something
Yeah.
really quick. I'm excited. I spun up a new Maui app today, and I'm putting it through the paces as well, because that's my bread and butter that I love. But I thought it was so cool just to do it and live through it and experiment with it. And I could have never dreamed about doing that, and having the
Yeah.
same life work balance that I had before. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's funny because I have that phrase, what is it? The cobbler's children have no shoes or something like that. As
Mm,
programmers, because we know how much work is actually in like a good quality app, oftentimes I don't think we even start apps because we're like, oh golly gee whiz, it's gonna be so much work to actually get this thing done. And I
totally.
think that the AIs have really helped me to like get over that first little hurdle. Like just get something down on paper that you can go back and edit and refine and all that stuff. But those little small apps, instead of writing like a little Python script or a little script that just runs in the command line, I'm just like, oh no, blast me out a full GUI app. Let's start there.
Oh yeah.
And I was always physically capable of it, but it's an energy thing, and this is doing a lot of that grunt work and just getting the thing out there. And so I myself, I've been really inspired by you, inspired by everyone doing everything to just, oh, if I have a silly little idea, it costs me so very little now to just prototype that idea and just get something rough down and decide like, play with it a little. Like, oh, okay, is this worth continuing to work on or not? I'll say, like, I haven't taken the next step of like really improving my business, like 10xing my profits. I'll be honest, I haven't done that yet. Um, but I feel like this is the first step to doing that, of like clearing those roadblocks, clearing those mental hurdles to get over and getting more apps out there and being willing to take on more maintenance burdens, as we always said, because now I know I can rely on something to help me with some of those maintenance burdens of making sure everything's updated with the latest .NET version and latest Swift version and whatever they feel like breaking this year.
I mean, I'll tell you this much. I had this because it's kind of like quiet right now this week and next week. So we're recording right before Christmas, and then this will come out the week of New Year's. That this week, the week of Christmas, the week of New Year's, is very quiet at Microsoft. There's only have two of my reports that are there. So we had a cool, super chill. We talked about travel and life and stuff on our team call. It was fun, which is great. I mean, we have fun team calls, when everyone's there, but it was quite fun. And one of the activities I wanted to take on is we have all these Microsoft Learn training courses, and myself and Matt Sokup and a few others maintain the Maui ones. And every year after a new .NET release, if we're good, we do it before, but this year it's after. It's normally after because it's how we do it. We update it to the latest version, and that requires updating tons of documentation and markdown files, going through all these things. It updates a bunch of sample references and things like that. And the Maui team did something awesome this year, and I love this trend, which is they made an instruction file. It could be a skill or a prompt, which is migrating .NET Maui from .NET 9 to .NET 10 applications. So what I did is today, I went into every single repo, including all the Learn documentation, then every sample repo, and I said, just gave it the same prompt for all the code samples, like, please update this from .NET, to .NET 10, and then use this reference guide as what you need to change, blah, 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 blah. And then in the main markdowns, I said, please update this, blah, 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 blah. If you need references of things that have changed, blah, 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 do this. And this used to take me about like a week to do because it's a lot of code. It's updating, it's changing, it's running all of them, doing all the things. And I had them all done in under an hour because it just updated all of them.
Feels good.
And then for some things I wasn't sure about, I was like, oh, I've approved this other pull request of the sample. Go reference the sample to update the documentation on this. Bingo, bango. And it's like, dude, this is the way. Like,
yeah,
I don't think I'll ever go back because that saved me so much time. Is all I say. And when I say an hour, it was an hour of it doing stuff and stuff like that. And then maybe another hour or two of pulling down the repos, making sure they all built. So it's totally good to go. If I was better, I'd be like, oh, and then do a GitHub action that like pulls it and builds
sure.
it. That's what I should have done. But even those little things, which is like the maintenance burden, right?
Yeah.
Super streamlined 100%. So I've been pleased because I have noticed that you've been upping your game a little bit more as far as apps and things that are coming out. I know you don't share them all with me, but I have noticed. So I'm not going to take any credit for that. I don't want to get a big head of myself.
No.
I think
we'll give
I like
no
to
credit.
think,
in fact,
I like to think that our conversations, right, of this podcast and being in, and maybe because I talk about it every freaking day. In the beginning of the year, Microsoft this year was a whirlwind. There was lots of ups and downs and reorgs and layoffs and all this other stuff, right? That was in the news. But one of the biggest things is at the beginning of the year, I really talked to my team. I said, I really think that, I want to focus on the core community of .NET and of Playwright and of Java and all these, Python, all the core communities. But I really want us to kind of pivot how we think about community and advocacy and really hunker down and get on board with AI for app development and putting AI into apps. So I challenged the team to really put Copilot through its paces and really think about how we're doing all this. And then obviously I've gotten really close to the VS Code team, and Mads on the team now. He's really close to the Visual Studio team. We're really close to the Visual Studio team, obviously close to the .NET team and all these things that we're doing. But it just like on the podcast, I talk about the stuff that I'm interested in, and you talk about the stuff you're interested in, and the stuff that we're doing. And yeah, I'm doing it at work, but it is because like I really believe in it, and I really think that it's a great tool to take advantage of, as much or as little. I think one of the biggest things I did, I pulled down some source code that you gave me of an app that I won't talk about. And the first thing I did is I started asking it questions about the code base. Are you using
Okay.
this? Are you using that? What are you doing this? Are you doing that? Right? I think it's how is this how is this implemented? Give me a breakdown of how that's implemented. Can you tell me
Mhm.
why was it? Why would they implement this? What are other approaches to take? And that's been very enlightening. I think by exploring code, prompting code, I think it's made me a better user of um, chat bots as well, like in non-coding scenarios. Like I use Copilot a lot. I'm a company man, right? So Microsoft
Mhm.
Copilot. I sent you a Copilot link. You sent me a ChatGPT
Yeah.
link earlier. But just because that's it's included in my M365 account, and I've been really thinking about how do I prompt this AI and give it like challenging things. How do I make it work more than just a Google search? You know what I mean? Sometimes it's a
Yeah.
Google search, but the thing I did recently was and then I'm going to shut up. I'm kind of geeking out a little bit because we're
It's
reviewing
been
this
a fun
legal.
year.
It's been
Yeah.
fun. We were reviewing
Yeah.
this legal contract. I'm not going to say for what or what reasons we're reviewing this legal contract. And there was a paragraph, section XL, and which must be like, I don't know, what is
Was
that
it
like?
literally an X?
Yeah, like Roman numeral X.
Oh, okay, okay. I was like, that's confidence inspiring.
And it was super like legal jargon. So I took
Yeah.
a photo of the contract and I said, can you describe in layman terms like what the heck this is saying? And laid it all out. And I was like,
Mhm.
that's good, but can you give me an example? Like give
Ah.
me a scenario. And it's like, oh, here's the scenario. And I was like, oh, wow, that's great. Right. And then I did another one, which was we were in the studio for AI Dev Days. And Ross came up to me. He's like, he was looking at this box, this candy box. And he's like, I'm allergic to peanuts. And I just don't know if there's peanuts in here because it's all in Korean. And he's like, I'm like,
Oh no.
and
Yeah.
I was like, let me take a photo. So I took a photo and I sent it to Copilot and I was like, what is in this thing? Are there any nuts
Peanut
in
or
it?
not. Yeah.
And it broke it down. And it was like, and it's like, no, there's no peanuts in it. However, specifically, there is a quote on the box, and it's like, here's what it says, so you can verify it. And then it says
Mhm.
that there is made in a facility that may have traces of peanuts and blah 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 blah. Right.
Oh,
So
okay.
it really broke it down. I was like, now Ross, you got to trust the AI, but the
Yeah.
AI says, I know we've all used the translate apps, and they're okay.
Yeah.
But I was
Mhm.
like, that's pretty good if that's the case, So
Yeah.
I think the technology's come so far. I've been really impressed, Frank. I've been really
Yeah.
impressed.
Yeah, and it's not just. I like what you said about using the AIs in apps also, because I'm pretty sure that was my 2025 goal, and I'm gonna push it to 2026 is to have more AI in my apps.
Yeah.
Because 2025 is kind of cool. Apple announced and released a neural network, an LLM, maybe an SLM if you're using Microsoft's parlance, that runs on millions and millions of devices out there that apps can tap into. I think you and I have both gotten our feet wet, and it gets a little bit depressing how dumb some of these SLMs can be. But it's nice to know that that's the future that we're all working toward, because if an LLM is powerful, then of course having one that's local and private and secure, and that you can really, as app developers, focus on and use for free and rely on, and then upsell people to make some more profits, is really powerful. And I'm hoping that that will be transformative. I don't think it was in 2025, to be blunt and honest. I think most people are still just using AI services. GPT 3.5 Turbo seems to be still used quite a bit in third-party apps and all that kind of stuff. But 2025, you can't deny that there are millions and millions of devices out there now that can run local language models right on the device. And I have and will continue to be excited for that future and believe it's a necessary component to this whole big puzzle of things that we're doing. So not only are we getting coding agents, I think that as coders, we should be using more LLMs out there.
I totally agree. I obviously dabbled this year with feedback flow and doing some relatively simplistic stuff. I've integrated into systems with MCP servers, obviously. But
Mm-hmm.
I agree. I don't feel like I've done enough. I haven't done like any orchestration. I haven't built like agents. I haven't really explored some of the stuff that's in, obviously Foundry would be what I'm using from
Yeah.
Microsoft for this stuff and Azure services. But yeah, I haven't really gone deep on it. And that's the part that I want to go deeper on, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
And I want to understand, vectorizing data, because in feedback flow, I've thought about it. I have all this data, I have this. It's like, wow, it would be really cool if, for example, somebody, puts this data up and then they could query or they could rag over, they could do whatever. You could do a lot with it. And I just haven't really gone down that route at all of going further than I have a system prompt, I have a thing, give me some results back. And that real-time flow with data, that's really important, I think, is the next step. And then beyond that, it is kind of the autonomous agents, right? I'm big into automation, but I'm not really big yet into the agent part where agents are calling agents and doing stuff. I'm excited to get into that, and I'm just need to find the use case that kind of unlocks it in my brain, right?
Yeah.
I think that's the thing, right? Now, the local models, I agree. Once I did feedback flow, I go, okay, I understand this. I understand I can give it some data. I can give it a prompt. I can get back. And to your point, with the podcast app that I built with the Apple Intelligence APIs, I was very impressed with it until we ran into all those limitations of the context windows. However, this year I learned all about context windows, Frank, and that is something I didn't necessarily know last year. So now I know a whole lot more about context windows and vectorization.
And knowing is power.
Yes. Knowing is power. Yes.
So should we move into 2026, or is there anything else that we want to say about 2025 un-AI related, or maybe even more AI related?
Yes.
Who knows?
I do want to talk about more, and then we'll get into at the very end 2026. I want to talk a little bit about my Nintendo Switch.
Ooh, I love Switch talk, Nintendo hour. Okay. So is it still large, or has it gotten smaller?
It's well, that is a great question, Frank. It is still large. I recently was just holding my Switch OLED, and I go, wow, this is small. And
okay. Here's the question: is the Switch OLED small, or is the Switch 2 large? Switch numeral 2 large.
I think that the Switch 2 is large.
Okay.
It's not as big as a Steam.
Not too large, but
yeah, it's not as big as a Steam Deck. Don't get crazy. No. Nothing could be.
Impossible to hold.
But I did travel to Japan with my Switch 2, and while the battery obviously is not as good as this first Switch, it's 2 to 3 hours based on the game. I was able to plug in. It didn't die on me anytime, even on the long play rides. I have a plug there. It's not a huge deal. Having the plug on top, that's a huge deal. There's 2 USB-Cs on it, so you can really go to town, top or bottom. I've played handheld nearly exclusively, though. I am a handheld person at heart in the most recent years and even the DS years. This year, I think, with my Switch 2, I think it is probably one of the, I think with the Switch 1, it was the best console probably that I've ever used for how I use consoles.
Cool.
It's not necessarily the most powerful, right? I'm not trying to put it up against the PS5s and the Xbox Series X's of the world. They're custom built PCs. But for me as a Nintendo person and being able to transport and play games and do things, I mean, Heather and I were just sitting out on the coast. I opened up Jackbox Games, just set it there on the table. We played Jackbox, we played Mario, no, we don't have a TV or anything. Just boom, we're good to go. We're out in the middle of the woods, on a train in Japan, and I'm just playing, Kirby or Donkey Kong Bonanza. I think that it's really good. I think this year the games I think have been all good, really good. Like the games from Nintendo, the updates have been really good to the existing games. The online service is really good. The game chat where you can just like dial a friend up and see their screen playing is really fun. I've beat games. I beat Donkey Kong. I beat Kirby fully, which is good. I don't usually do that. I played a lot of Mario Kart. I'm getting ready to beat Metroid, and I'm booting it up, and that's my holiday hack, is being that. Is a very good device. It's not a revolutionary device, because the Switch 1 was a revolutionary device, is an evolutionary device. That being said, if you do find a Switch 2 for $450, there's some out there now for $450 with Mario Kart. That's a steal. I think Best Buy has them, maybe online. It's a steal. That's a great deal
Hmm.
because that means it's a $370 or $380 console with a $70 game, and that
Hmm.
$70 game is a good game, and it's great. So I'm really happy. I think Nintendo knocked it out of the park. I think the thing with the Switch One is uh, unlike the OLED. So I've had the Switch, the original Switch, and the Switch OLED, where they made design updates to it.
Hmm.
Um, this one is such more refinement, takes so many key takeaways. I think with the Switch One, it was always like, wow, this is amazing, but there was compromises. The kickstand wasn't that great. The rails were a little bit, the screen wasn't maybe 100%. And then the Switch OLED came out, and you're like, wow, this is amazing. This is like probably this all this other stuff. It got a nice kickstand. It got some other
Okay.
updates, some other colors and stuff. And I think with this Switch 2, I'm not really seeing too much that I'm like, I have to have like a bigger update. Like I don't, there are people that are like you got to have an OLED. OLED's the only way. Potato, potato. If it was OLED, it'd be more expensive. I think the display is just great. I think I'm not like, I need every hertz, I need every FPS and blah, blah, blah. But it's smooth. It's great. The games load fast. Um, Good games, good eShop, good online support, good console, good solid console. Very happy with it. Played it more this year than I have played my Switch in the last 2 or 3 years, for sure. It
Okay.
feels like I'm playing it about the same amount as I played the Switch One the first year I got that, which I was very very excited about in general. So 6 month review, I'm very happy with it. Um, and yeah, it's a really, really nice machine, really refined. And I think that the price point is good and worth your money. That's what I would say. Um,
Fantastic.
yes,
You
I would.
completed Donkey Kong. God, I haven't completed a game in forever. I should try that sometime.
That was my New Year's resolution was when the Switch 2 comes out, you know, don't buy a new game until
Mm.
you've completed the
Wow.
game that you're
Yeah.
playing, right?
Cool.
Now, I'm not saying that I did that,
You didn't.
but I did reduce the amount of games that I was buying until I beat the games.
At least you had some guilt, right?
I did. Like I had Kirby, but I was like, I'm not starting Kirby until I did it. And then it was funny because I beat Kirby, and then it gives you a percentage. I was at 70, and I booted up Metroid, got 30 minutes in. I said, no, I don't feel like I'm far enough along. So I looked up all these guys, and
Mhm.
now I'm at like 90%, which I feel very good about in
Okay.
Kirby, which is basically like you did it all. I'm not going to
Okay.
grind for every little thing.
No.
But
No.
then I'm like, now I can start Metroid, right? So I feel really
Okay.
good
Yeah.
about that. Feel good about that. Yeah. So,
All right. Sounds like a good console.
yeah, it's good. Well,
I
let's
still
talk
think
about.
about getting a Switch One now that the Switch 2s are out because now they're cheaper.
I could, if you can find one. I can send you one. I could send you a Switch Lite or something, depending on how you want to play. I want to talk about Apple a little bit. We talked a little bit
Mm.
about this. We actually got an entirely new redesigned iOS and Mac OS. That happened
Oh.
this year.
Oh yeah. I look. I have such mixed feelings about. I believe you're talking about liquid glass. I
So
have so many
liquid.
mixed feelings.
It's so liquid, so glass.
Is it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I think overall, who doesn't like a pixel refresh? It's kind of cool. New shininess definitely has a lot of shiny. They put a little specular highlight on pretty much everything. Too many things, one might say even. And it's caused me to have to redesign all my apps. Thanks, Apple. But I do feel like it's a little bit of a sad year for Apple because it wasn't as the kids say, a UX improvement. It was a pixels improvement. Yeah, they made some of the buttons bigger. I get it. It's not that big of a change. In fact, I find some of the glass buttons a little bit hard to press for whatever reason.
Mhm.
And they moved some things around and made some things so big that you can't even read the title of apps anymore. So I feel like my mixed feelings on liquid glass. Liquid glass in review is I do appreciate the shininess. I think I've gotten used to the glass look now, and other things look flat and a little bit dull to me. But in retrospect, I'm a little bit sad because I feel like Apple has lost a little bit of the human interface part. Like,
Mm.
did you forget that humans are interacting with this thing? And it's got to be humans first and like easy touch first. I bought the iPhone 17 Pro Glow, but I kind of hate it because there's literally no surface on the device I can touch without some stupid app starting. There's secret buttons all over the thing. Every pixel on the lock screen is hot now. And so you touch any part of the lock screen and it's going to do something. The amount of times I've had this camera like burning a hole in my pocket because the LED is on is numerous. And by numerous, I mean really numerous. And so I don't know where you were going with the liquid glass, but I just want to say that's my year-end review. I appreciate the shiny, but I think Apple has taken a step backwards in human interface design, sadly.
Yeah, it's fascinating. I released this new app, Trim Tally, exclusively with liquid glass,
Ooh,
and
yeah.
exclusively for iOS 26. Wow. Yeah, I would say I'm indifferent on it. I feel like now that it's here, I just want every app just to be liquid glass, so I don't get different
Sure.
keyboards and I don't get different UX, and my tabs all work the same and searches on the bottom and all this other stuff. But yeah, I don't necessarily like love it. I don't necessarily hate it. It's like pretty mid.
Yeah.
And then I do agree that it does seem to often get in the way, especially I have a smaller work phone, which is my iPhone SE. And yeah, things are all up in the way all the time and weird. And oddly enough, something that I've never had happen before happened to me. It was I was out taking photos of Millie a day or two ago. And I had to ask Heather, how do I take a portrait photo? I couldn't figure it
Oh
out.
my God. The camera app has just been a complete regression. Sorry to interrupt you. It's just a complete regression.
I couldn't figure it out.
Yeah, I don't know who. Do they do user studies there? I don't know who they found for their user studies that thought this was a good idea. I don't know.
She told me how to
What
do
can I
it.
even say? I don't know. Every time I want to switch modes anymore, I don't know if it's a touch thing or what. Like mentally, I know there's something I need to slide, and so I go and slide on everything, and nothing slides. And so then I'm like, maybe it's
Yeah.
broke, and then I shake it a little, and then try to slide again. I'm like, I know it has portrait mode in there somewhere. Remember
Somewhere.
action mode? Who knows how to even activate action mode anymore?
That's a mystery.
And it's, the one thing that you can press brings up like 9 different widgets of settings I don't care to ever change.
I don't even know I don't even know if they're all icons. I don't even know what they do.
They're the most useless icons on the planet. Like they're trying to make a Snapchat or something from 1990. I guess Snapchat didn't come out in 1990, but it was like a 2010s app. Like, oh, I don't know. I don't know who they're user studying over there, but they are not me.
Yeah, it's because like when you open the app, right, it's like only photos and videos, and you have to tap on it, and then you do have to slide, but then it's not like it's like kind of like bleh, doing stuff, and you open the thing.
You have
I'm
to tap
like,
it first before you slide it or something.
It's super weird. I don't even know what these mean. It's like do a thing. I know I'll get used to it over time, but it's like maybe.
I just stopped taking photos because every button on my phone seems to turn on the Photos app. So I'm just like, I'm so over it. I don't even want to take a photo anymore.
Oh God, I like that. Like that's the solution. Like just don't take any photos or anything like that. That's why you got like the greatest phone is because
look, you'll know I've hit my peak brain limit when I start vibe coding a camera app. If Frank releases a camera app, you know I've just lost it. I've gone completely insane. I swore to myself in 2008 I wouldn't write a camera app. If I release a camera app in 2026, you know I'm just full bonkers at that point.
Oh my gosh, that's great. I love it. Yeah, I think the challenge that Liquid Glass has, and I see it a lot on the Mac, is that it isn't very good on the Mac. And it's really toolbars. I think that toolbars took a big regression this year on Mac and on iOS a little bit too. They're a little bit more convoluted than ever in general. And say what you will about Windows, my favorite operating system. I think it's pretty good. So
I'm gonna one up you though. I'm gonna just say UI toolbars and UIs in 2025 have regressed. I think they're just worse. I'm just going to put it out there. The other day you were explaining how work trees work to me on the podcast live. So make sure you listen to last week's episode or the previous week. And you're like, click the button with 3 dots. I'm like, James, there are literally 7 buttons with 3 dots on the screen. Like every UI designer's just loves 3 dots. And you know what happens if you put more than 2 toolbar buttons on a liquid glass interface? Oh, it puts 3 dots up there. So
Yeah.
I'm going to say 2025 is the year of an ellipsis. It's just the year of the
Ugh,
ellipsis, and it's just everywhere. And I can't
no,
wait for that
I don't
anti-pattern to
want
just go away.
I don't want it anymore. It's funny because as an Android developer, that we were like the 3 dot crew, right? Like Apple was like, no 3 dots, and Android was like 3 dots, so many menus, bro. Let's do it. Get all the options, yeah, overflow everything.
I was at Walmart and the stupid machine rang up my thing for the wrong price, so the clerk had to come by and they enter their super secret passcode or whatever, and you know what it showed? 3 dots, and then they
Oh
could
my
click the
God.
3 dots and get into like the admin console. I thought, oh yeah, they even put the 3 dots in front of you guys.
3 dots everywhere. So crazy. One thing is about a year ago, about this time, we got our new Mac Minis.
Oh yes, I wanted to say yes. So you just did your awesome Switch review. I didn't really get too much fancy hardware this year, but I did get my Mac Mini, and I continue to love it. That's tiny little computer. Especially, I think a while ago you asked me, do I regret it after the Studio came out a few months after? I was at the store. Do you know how big the Studio is?
It's
It's
big.
giant. It's as big as a PC desktop. So I am very happy to have my tiny, tiny, itsy bitsy little Mac Mini that is stupidly powerful. That if I ever want to, which I haven't bothered to ever do this, but I could unplug a few plugs and just throw it in my backpack if I wanted to,
It
because
could.
it's so tiny and minuscule. Who cares? Like honestly, for this trip, I probably should have just packed my desktop computer in my
Yeah.
luggage because it's tiny. Who cares?
Yeah.
Right now
Travel
I'm regretting not doing that.
travel monitor. Like I have a USB-C monitor.
Yeah.
Just boom, done. You know what I mean? And then you're
Yeah.
easy peasy. If they were better, I bet you could with your iPad. You should be able to get an
Oh yeah.
HDMI. Oh no, there's
Right.
one way. It'd be cool to be able to plug in an iPad and it's a monitor for your Mac somehow, like just on the road,
Oh, it
right?
can do that. It can
Oh,
do that. I don't know if you're required to have a normal monitor too, but the iPad can definitely act as an external monitor.
that'd be cool if it could be solo mode. I like that.
Yeah, I don't know if it can do that.
Yeah, I agree. I mostly the Switch was the biggest hardware I got this year. That was the only hardware I got this year.
Oh,
Um,
I want to join the 2010s and also say just slightly unrelated, but I got into e-bikes this year. Turns out e-bikes fun. Highly recommended. If you haven't tried e-bikes yet, don't be like me. Try them out. They're great.
Heather has one. They're super good. She lets me ride it on occasion. But also last year I got like an e-scooter for
Oh,
Heather as
cool.
well, and
They'll seem a little dangerous to me, but I like
they
e-bikes.
are dangerous. Yes, wear a helmet,
And
but
I'm a one-wheel rider, and scooters seem dangerous.
the limes around Seattle I'll take and I'll scoot around, and those you don't have a helmet on. That's super unsafe.
No,
Like, oh, it's
exactly.
not great. But if you have all the equipment and stuff, they're pretty good. We have like a little Segway one. It's pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
It is something. There's some joy, and the one that Heather has a pedal assist, right? But you also has a
Yeah.
lever, so you can super boost if you want.
Yeah.
There's something to be said when you're going up a hill. And you're like, you know what I could be not doing right now? Pedaling up this hill, and you just go.
Getting my heartbeat up to 130, 140.
We were going out with Heather. It was me, Heather, and our friend Stephanie, and we were riding, and they both have e-bikes, and I have my single fixed gear, and we're going up this
Oh
big
yeah,
hill.
Pixie, look at you.
And yeah, I know. And they're like, oh, like use those, get those quads working. And I'm like, I am, trust me, I am. And they're just like, da 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 da. But it's cool. I like the e-assist ones that you can do on demand. So how they're like just kind of low all the time because she actually want to pedal, but then when she wants to, she's like, yeah, let's go. Or if she wants to, if I'm ahead and she wants to catch up, boom. Biggest surprises, favorites, biggest disappointments of the year, 2025. What you got, Frank?
We haven't achieved world peace. I don't know what's taken humanity so long. Can we just stop murdering each other? That'd be nice. So I guess that's my biggest disappointment. It's not even my biggest disappointment because you can see it coming from a mile away. But I think that's my biggest sadness. But someday we'll get there.
Wow, heavy.
Yeah, heavy. Sorry, didn't mean to go there, but you asked for the truth, and I gave you the truth. It was no huge surprises this year. I mean, there's always the chaos of the world. I didn't expect a tariff war. I didn't expect the LA fires. Do we expect any of that
Mm.
kind of stuff? So those are my biggest disappointments. Mostly disappointed in humanity and Mother Nature. We'll go with that. Stop burning down our forest, Mother Nature.
Yeah. This year up down here in Oregon, we had a better year, but yes, there's many fires, many things.
Mm-hmm.
Um, biggest disappointments, biggest surprises. I would say Mac OS 26 is my biggest tech disappointment of the year. I think it's a bad
Mm-hmm.
OS update. iOS 26 is okay. It's fine. I think Mac OS 26 is my big disappointment
Yeah.
of
Okay.
the year. I think one of my biggest surprises is Heather got the iPhone 17 Pro, which you also have. 8x zoom. That might be my biggest
Oh yeah,
surprise.
that is
8x
awesome.
zoom.
Actually.
It's a good one.
Yeah.
I do believe that I no longer actually, there's not almost a reason for me to bring my Canon camera with me anymore. It's not unless I got a crazy big lens or something
Mm-hmm.
on it. I do have a nice one, but at this point I'm like, is it beneficial to take up space in my bag compared to just using Heather's 8x zoom? Now I'm yelling, I'm like, 8x that, 8x it, 8x it. She's like, no. She's like, okay.
Yeah.
But like, I'll have her phone. I'll take photos of Millie. I'm like really zoomed in. I'm like
Zoom
really
in.
close, like super zoom.
Yeah.
I think that's good. I think that was my biggest surprise of like a feature that I didn't know I
Okay.
wanted, but now I do want. So
Well, you
there's
just
that.
inspired me. I do have to give a positive one, and it's a little esoteric, everyone, so I apologize. But I do have a tech one. I did not expect Apple to implement A, WebGPU across the
Mm.
board on all devices, and B, implement WebGPU being able to do WebXR, augmented reality and virtual reality. Actually, they only implemented the virtual reality side. They didn't do the augmented reality side. As app developers, you won't guess, but I still love writing web apps. And the web is a very important place. And WebGPU is so much better than WebGL. And I've written many big libraries with WebGPU. I really love WebGPU. See also my Torch implementation in WebGPU. And I as the biggest surprise, because Apple drags its whatever it can drag, it will drag. And I did not expect them to implement WebGPU across the board on all their devices and in their Mac 26s. See, there's a good thing in Mac OS 26, James.
Okay.
And I especially didn't expect them to implement it on my beloved Vision Pro. So it's nice that Apple has really adopted that standard, especially in this AI world. See, everything ties back to AI. We need good GPU software interfaces to the GPU, and WebGPU is by far not perfect, but it's very good, much better than WebGL.
Dude, you know my biggest, like my biggest, one of my biggest favorites and also least favorites,
Mm-hmm.
Passkeys.
Oh yeah, yeah. It's a real mixed emotion thing, huh? When it
Really
works,
gets me.
awesome. How does it work? God knows. What do I do if something gets lost? Who knows? But it's
It's
great
a
when they
mystery.
work.
It's great when they work. The downside that I will pull up is it's like the year of QR code scanning for
Oh my
entering
god. Yeah.
websites again. It's just like, just literally when I was signing up for my Switch 2, like the sign up process, you must
Yeah.
honestly scan like 18 different barcodes. I was just I'm testing this test device and
Mm-hmm.
I'm rebooting it and I just scanned 8 QR codes in the matter of the last 10 minutes to sign into like 18 different services. It's just like QR
Hilarious.
codes are like the hot thing. You know what I mean? I'm just like,
Yeah.
dude, I don't want
Yeah.
all this
You know,
stuff.
it's funny how technology works. I remember I was still in college in the year of 2004. No one don't look at your calendars to figure out how old I am. And I remember reading an IEEE Spectrum. These are professionals saying Bluetooth is dead. Bluetooth is going nowhere. It's dead. It's a stupid standard. It's garbage. Throw it out. There's better stuff out there. Who knows what? But there's better stuff out there. And I remember reading Bluetooth is dead. I'm like, all these smart people are saying Bluetooth is dead. And it's funny, I was designing like a Bluetooth system at the time. So I'm just like, oh no, am I just dumb and gullible?
I'm
Little did
obsolete.
I know that was like the breakout moment of Bluetooth. That was the bottom of the hockey stick curve for Bluetooth. Now literally everything is Bluetooth, whether it should be or not, it's Bluetooth. and then like the same exact thing happened with QR codes. I remember reading from very smart people saying QR codes are a failed technology. No one's using them, no one's adopting them, they're just garbage. And now everything is a QR code, whether it should be or not. Everything is a QR code. And I just love it. I love being in technology long enough to see all these naysayers say, oh, that technology is garbage, just because it doesn't get super mass adoption within the first 3 years. They're like, oh, it's garbage, it's gone. And then to see it just hockey stick curve up.
It is passkeys for days, all over the place. Oh, another one of my favorites, Apple Passwords. This is the most righteous update of the year. I know it's not necessarily
app
new.
itself.
The app itself.
Right.
But
not having to go into Safari preferences to find my passwords is pretty nice.
It is absolutely the best. And then additionally, the friends and family sharing that you can do. So Heather and I have shares. So like whenever she needs a password to like utility company or bank or whatever, I just add it to our shared group and boom, it's there.
Mm-hmm.
And the 2-factor auth codes are all just there, and that's fun to share as well. It's just like the best way of doing it. I love it. So that has been a game changer in my personal opinion for like favorite thing that's out there.
Yeah,
the other
that's
favorite
cool.
thing, active noise canceling headphones are at superb quality at rock bottom prices. The CMF, it's a great company. It's a sub brand of Nothing. These are the CMF A2A Pros, $20. They're $20 to $30 on Amazon. Spectacular, great earbuds. I don't know about like, if I was doing a podcast with them or whatever, but the active noise canceling for like airplanes and just general, superb. They're not gonna be like a Bose like quiet, whatever, or even Apple.
Okay.
They're $20, but compared to the headphones that I was buying 5 years ago for $20,
yeah,
the technology's come so far. It's just very, very impressive in general. So big shout out to whoever figured that out. I'm looking around, Frank. What else do I got to talk about? Favorites, least favorites. Oh, I did a lot of cloud game streaming this year on Xbox Game Pass.
Oh, it's huge.
Yep,
it's huge. I've been hanging out with some kids, and they're just cloud streaming everything.
Wow.
I don't know where games come from anymore. I don't know where the pixels come from. It's just there. They're playing it. Who knows?
It's happening. Yeah, I got my Switch and that's it. My Xbox games, I just stream right on my Mac. What a day. That's crazy. That's crazy. I was playing Age of Empires. I think it was Age of Empires, streaming from Xbox to my Mac, playing with my Mac mouse and keyboard. What? That didn't make any sense. But where's the game even coming from? What is happening? It's a wild, crazy universe, and I absolutely love it so much. I think it's just so neat, just in general. So, yeah.
And then the last props, I don't think it's 2025, but the Framework laptop. I don't actually personally own one, but I have been rocking my friends for the last few days. And nothing brings out the nerdy kid side of you, like picking through hardware, like, ooh, maybe I should upgrade the motherboard. Maybe I should upgrade the RAM. No, don't upgrade the RAM. It's too expensive now. Maybe I should upgrade this or upgrade that or something like that. I think I don't even want to like promote it as a big thing, but I've just been enjoying the joy of the Framework laptop, because laptops aren't one of those things you can really customize. So it's fun that there's this new laptop out there that everyone's having fun customizing and being really nerdy with.
So frame.work is the URL. I was just there today. Yeah. And now I had something in my cart and I decided not to buy it. As many people may know, love-hate relationship with my Mac Mini. I love it. So small, so cute, but I just can't gel with it. I was talking to Tim from the GitHub, the team, because he has like I think a Max 2 or a Mac Mini, and we were talking about he's got an ultra wide, and I was talking about my dismay of Mac OS. I'm struggling. He gave me some tips to use like Raycast and a few other apps to try some things out. But I almost broke down today, and I said, should I buy a framework desktop PC?
Ooh, desktop. Okay.
Yeah. I got laptops, but they're small, they're cute, they're customizable, and I could probably get one that's like way more powerful than maybe my Mac. Well, maybe not more powerful, but really, really up there for a good, I mean, I could get a Max, which is whatever the Ryzen is, whatever it is. It's got
thread ripping left and right.
It's got 128 gigs of RAM for $2,000.
RAM.
I could get a 2 terabyte hard drive in it. I could get another 2 terabyte hard drive in it. Of course, bring my own. I get some tricked out awesome fan, some cable management. We're talking $2,500, and I'm like, this is almost too good. It's so cute. Do I want this? You know what I mean? And get all the little tiles, little customization. I thought about it, but I wasn't sure if it was like something I would use every single day or not. Because I have my Mac Mini. So maybe the next gen one I'll get. But I agree. I love that somebody's doing it, and to the point that I'm like, yeah, right now in the market, I love the Surface devices that are out there, like the new Surface laptop. But for a desktop PC, I don't got one from Microsoft, and I've looked around, and there's some really good little tiny NUCs out there and things like that, but it's not necessarily there. So I was like, this is a pretty cool one. I like it. Next year might be the year that we talk a lot more about our friends over at Valve, our other Washington-based company.
I hope we're talking about them. They better ship.
We'll see. I'm excited and worried all at the same time. So we'll see what happens there. Let's talk about one thing before we talk about 2026. Maybe when we talk about 2026, who knows? But we'll do a little light prediction. But any fun favorite travel you did this year, Frank?
Travel this year? You're gonna make me actually review the year and remember? Yes, I did actually go on a really fun trip. I went with my buddy to Japan, James, and it was.
It was this year.
It was this year. I know. This was a really long year. We all got a little grayer, I think.
That's crazy, dude. That's crazy.
So I had a very fun trip. It was, this is the real mind-blowing one. We went to Japan 20 years ago together, and this was the 20-year anniversary trip. So this is my first time doing a 20-year anniversary trip. I'm afraid that I'm that old now that I even can do a 20-year anniversary trip. But it was super fun to like, just be, we're the same people, but you're different people. And to go like, I was such an inexperienced traveler when I did it that first time. And now I feel like I'm a pro. And so it was fun to see, like, can a pro handle it? And I still made all the same mistakes I made as an amateur. So it was a real fun experience for me. And it's a beautiful country. I think we both appreciate Japan. So that was my travel highlight for the year. My fun Japan trip with my buddy.
Nice. Well, you went to Japan, so I couldn't, not go. So I also went to Japan, but
you son of a.
We both went to I don't think we've ever gone to like the same country in the same year, like ever. So
funny.
It's kind of crazy. And I forgot when we bought the tickets. It was after you had definitely booked yours, but you might not have gone yet because we got a really cheap deal on it. But my favorite trip, there's two. There's the Japan trip, which you and I've talked about, which I'm excited to go back. But we also went to Iceland in February, which is right before you went to Japan. And that trip was so cool because we got to do both in Japan and in Iceland. We did a lot of hot springs, which were big hot springs and sauna people. And the ones in Iceland, the outdoor, the fjords, the geothermal. I was in Japan, also geothermal. 2 countries geothermal. Just wild, the outdoor, just breathtaking views. Because we went in the middle of winter, you couldn't really go so far, but we got to see some beautiful, luscious things. Really, really awesome. So that was really a highlight. Maybe it was even January. I forget whenever we went. It was crazy. That was definitely up there. Obviously, the Japan trip was awesome. The Nintendo Museum, maybe one of the highlights of things I've done in a long time. Cool. But Iceland, so cool. 2026, Frank. What you got for me, buddy?
I just have one question for you, James. What goes up must come down. We spent like at least 30 minutes talking about AI and how awesome AI is. Is this the year the bubble pops or not? I have my own opinion, but I want to hear yours first.
No, I think that there's a long runway still. I think that there is a year in which I do kind of like we were talking about earlier. I think there's so much runway for people to actually figure out how to use this technology in their applications to infuse things. I still think that we have come a long way just on some general generation. So image generation, video generation, um,
Hmm.
integrating that into tooling, things that we use on a daily basis. I want it to almost be synonymous where, in PowerPoint and Word, when I'm drafting things
Yeah.
up, like there's a lot of things that can get better there. Um, and I think even with coding, there's a long ways to go about how you create these user interfaces to be flexible based on how different developers are coding, right? And how they use
Hmm.
these tools. It's quite complex task, and a lot of different people are doing it in different ways. It'll be interesting. I think the year will be fascinating as far as like the um, hyperscalers is what they like to call them. So the big companies, the chip providers, like what's going to happen with memory, what's going to happen with power
Hmm.
consumption, what's going to happen with GPUs in the upcoming year. But I still feel like, you know, it's still early on. It feels like it's really advanced because it's advanced so quickly. But I do think there's a lot of runway for this stuff to really help you sort of streamline a lot of bits and pieces of your day more. We talked about it before,
Hmm.
as far as emails and drafting and things like that. Like what I really want stuff to do is give me, overviews, draft some responses, do some things. I want to be human in the loop. I want to be in control, but are there things that can really help in that automation aspect to help me focus more on my life, for example? And maybe those things are pieces of features that get built into the operating system, that get built into the phone, that are taking advantage of small language models and things like that. I was just using Copilot inside of Notebook or Notepad. And just in Notepad, I was drafting something up. And I was like, yeah, I got to rewrite this. And it just like did it, right? Just kind of like the Apple writing
Yeah.
tools. It's there.
Hmm.
Now the Apple writing tools, oh, perfect. You know what I mean? Taking photos. So I think there's a lot of runway for these things. The question is, will the chatbots and the CLIs, the code editors, will they all start to feel the same? Will they be different? Like, how is this going to be? Is the races for models, like, have we gone? But I still think there's a lot of opportunity to play around with that. And I think for
Hmm.
developers, there's a lot of opportunity for us to really improve our applications with some of this core piece of technology if we're not taking advantage of it at all. Um, and even the apps that I created this year, it's not necessarily taking advantage of a lot of this stuff, but could be in the future, right? I could, in Trim Tally, I could use Apple Intelligence, for example, and be like, give me a routine based on this and that, and give me some information. It's all on device. Like
Hmm.
the app's all about security and privatization. And like, that's a great use case. And I didn't even think of it. Like, that's a great, pro feature that I could just give, and gives them a little, diet plan, or gives them whatever.
Hmm.
Just add a survey, and then it bumps something out. So to me, the hardest part of creating software is you don't know what you don't know, and you don't know until you use it, right? And that's hard. We're in this space where a lot of things are brand new. Like, we've known UI frameworks. Maybe there's a new one, but there's still like a UI framework. We know APIs, we know databases. There's a huge new toolkit that's evolving quickly, right? So when do you want to actually adopt it into your system? So I think that's a fascinating um, space to be in. So I'm excited to see where it goes. And I still think that some of the foundation is still new and evolving quickly too. So I think there's a lot of runway for this for a long time. I think it's going to be here for a long time with us. I think, I'm not sure. Like, you asked me, like, maybe it'll. I'm not sure if it's going to calm down. You know what I mean? I think some people are like, it's
Hmm.
moving so fast, it's doing this. I think I do believe that some people believe that maybe this year, next year, it's going to calm down a little bit because the models are kind of, flattening out.
Hmm.
I'm not sure if that's true or not, to be honest with you. It might be longer.
Okay. Yep. I don't think there's actually too much merge conflict here,
Okay.
sadly. I like controversy. But I will say AI is the one thing that's infamous for bubbles popping. It happened in the 50s, 60s. It happened in the 80s, 90s. It will happen again. But I think that we have proven that the technology has value. So I think the bubble popping is going to be a little more surprising than, say, the dot com burst. Because
Mm.
the dot com bubble burst, but we still have the internet. And if anything, we have a much bigger internet than ever anyone could have imagined in
Yeah.
2001. So the bubble popping doesn't mean the technology goes away. It just means that you can't start an AI business and get $1 billion in cash from someone who doesn't know anything.
Yeah.
Or you can't just put AI on your resume and then get insta hired for $250 million by Mark Zuckerberg. So I think that bubble will pop.
Yeah.
I don't think it'll be overly dramatic though, because I think the technology has. There are people who are not programmers who still love AI models. And there is another segment of the world that they're still on the plagiarism thing, where they still think all AIs do is plagiarize works. And you're like, it's not what it does, but okay, fine. If that helps you understand it, fine. So they're still stuck in that part. Like they still have to transcend. They have so many more hurdles to get over in their comprehension of the AI. I think we're going to have a beautiful run up with all that kind of stuff. And so I think it will burst in the next 2, 3, 4 years, but it's not next year. No, we're full steam ahead. The Wild Wild West is going to continue to be wild for at least 2026, is my guess. Prove me wrong, anyone, but I feel like there's still going to be a lot of money flowing around at the end of 2026.
I do believe there's a lot of money on the sidelines, as people like to call it. It's lingering around, and I think the market too. It's not a financial podcast. I'm not a financial advisor, and Tom Lee I trust. But besides that, I think, I kind of always think the beginning of the year is always a little volatile. And it's always fascinating. It's like policy and change and things like that in the new year. So kind of see what happens there. I think there's a lot of cash on the sidelines. The economy's interesting. The economy is not the stock market, by the way. Like if you read this stuff, like it's not how it works. It's part of the economy and shows some stuff. It's not the economy. I hate when you watch shows and they're like, well, the economy is doing great because the stock market's doing great. Like, nope, it's not accurate. Nope, not accurate.
It's actually the price of Doritos. That's how I judge the economy. How much do Doritos cost?
Yes, correct. How many bags of Doritos does that iPhone cost? And I think there's a lot of runway. I think there's a lot of learning and a lot of cash that these VCs are going to like pump into these businesses. It'll be really fascinating. I do think it's probably going to start to be a little bit harder for people to get money. Unless, and I don't think the interest rates are going to drop dramatically. That's for sure.
Not next year.
No, not next year. So it'll be an interesting time. Here's a good question for you. Foldable iPhones, Frank Krueger. Foldable
Please,
iPhones.
you just put
we got the iPhone
right through my heart.
We got the iPhone Air. So the next, are there going to, 2 of them?
Look, all I'll say is I hope. That would be nice. And I've seen the rumors. Just do it, Apple. What is your problem? Do some innovation. I'm going to answer your question with a statement. I guess that's how you do answer questions. Do something with the iPhone, Apple, that doesn't involve adding another stupid camera to it. I love your 8x zoom. It's fun. It's good to see blurry backlit pictures of birds. Love them. But please do something with the phone. Do something with UX. Like the company, I love Apple, but they have really stagnated in the last few years. So will it be a foldable phone? It gosh darn well better be. But I'd be open to a phone with 2 displays. This is the one I want. I want a display on the front and a display on the back. Why is there a back of the phone? I don't know. It should work both ways. What's the difference? I don't even need foldable. I don't need it to be that big. I don't care. Maybe it could, have a little keyboard shoot out of it, like it's 2004. That'd be cool. Just do something with the iPhone, Apple. So my prediction is Apple will not do anything with the iPhone, and at the end of 2026, I'll be saying Apple do something with the iPhone.
Are we going to get a home pod screen thingy? Is that happening?
No.
No, it's not him.
No, I fear all the people that worked on that ended up working on Vision, and then Vision got sideswiped by AI, and then everyone got thrown over to working on AI, and Apple is nothing if not slow. So will it be 2026? No. Maybe in a few years, though. They are due for, if Siri ever grows in intelligence, they would be remiss not to release a new home device. There is. I'm still rocking the Jeff Bezos Dingus because it's pretty good. I would be happy to replace it with a Tim Cook Dingus.
I would, yeah.
But there isn't one out there, and HomeKit doesn't work well. So I would love it to happen. I feel like they need to invest a lot more money and just make more deals with small manufacturers and make it actually happen.
Yeah, a lot of my IoT devices and cameras unfortunately dropped HomeKit support fully just because they're like, man, not worth it, blah, blah. Some do have it on some of their devices, but not all their devices. So it's like a really mixed bag, which is a shame because the cameras and stuff that I do use inside of it are pretty good. It's like pretty solid in general. Yeah. I'm thinking
no Siri Dingus.
No Siri Dingus. I don't know if we'll get a fold. I don't know if they'll have enough courage to do it this year or not. But
do you think there ever will be? I'll even flip the question on you. Will there ever be a foldable iPhone?
Yes. No.
Okay.
Yes. No.
Yes. No.
I don't really know. There's just, it's like, is it worth it for them to take that risk? Even in general, the foldable devices now, they're not like selling gangbusters, right? So it's almost, to Apple, it's like, if it's not selling X number, it's not worth doing,
Right.
And that is a hard place to be. So the question I would prompt you, because they did do it, is will the Vision Pro be here at the end of the year?
Be here, yes.
It's on sale. You can buy one.
Yeah. Only because they just released a new model and they're going to have to clear the inventory for it. Now, will there be one after that model? I don't know.
Okay.
I think there will be one in the future. And I hope that they're working on a lighter one and a simpler one. I think that's what every Vision Pro person actually wants. Is it 2026? Probably not.
Vision Air. I think they want Vision Air. It's in
God, you could even spell it like a French person. Oh God, it'd be awesome.
Well, because one device category that did excel this year were wearable glasses.
Yeah. They're rocking it.
Metas, there's a bunch of other ones that just connect up and do whatever.
A lot of small manufacturers are doing it now. That's when you know it's a good tech. When someone without all the resources of Apple and Google say, hey, we'll throw some into this market. See what happens. Yeah.
And there's use cases for some of the core tech in Vision Pro, such as the monitor mirroring and the privacy part of it. Some good examples are being on a plane and not worrying what's on your screen because you're just typing, out into the ethers and it can be as big as you want, or not worrying about what people are watching or seeing or doing in those public spaces that you're not necessarily like walking around and doing stuff, but I'm at a coffee shop and I'm coding and I'm doing stuff and I don't have to worry about people accidentally seeing a Teams chat or whatever. I think that there's some niceties to that that they could really take advantage of. That would be super nice. So let's hope and let's see. But that's going to do it for 2025. People, have a safe, happy holiday, and we will see you in 2026. As always, Frank, is an honor and privilege to hold the podcast and deliver over 490 of these delectable episodes. It's been a joy. I know people are trying to kill the podcast name at the end of the year, but we're going to hold strong as a podcast. You can also, if you want to watch our show, podcast show, you can go to youtube.com /Merge Conflict FM at Merge Conflict FM. And find us there. You can see our beautiful faces. That's it. That's as much production as we do because we have full-time jobs. And that's all the time that we have to give you. But thank you, all of our amazing listeners who maybe stuck with us since the beginning or through the year or through any time at all. We appreciate it. We are coming up on 3 million downloads of the pod.
Oh my God.
Just on audio, if you were to combine that with video, we'd already be over that hump, which is cool. But thank you all so much for hanging with us. It's been a joy and an honor. So until next time, I'm James Montemagno.
And I'm Frank Kruger. Thanks for watching and listening.
Peace.